Okay, so in Truth and Justice this week, episodes 9 through 12, I think it really digs deeper into like the case. For episode 9, it mainly like focuses on the sister's side of the story. She described her household as terrifying, which is interesting to hear. The parents were heavy drinkers. They were never around. They were basically by themselves most of the time, and they took care of themselves, which is concerning to hear. But one thing that stood out to me in this episode is that the mom, Dana, I think that's her name, she, in her statement, she said that she sent Dawn to go get Michael, but then she doesn't recall doing that, which is like concerning or interesting, which it kind of makes sense because like over time you don't remember things from, but I feel like in situations like this where like something big happens, I feel like you remember everything, and her like saying that she doesn't remember her mom telling her to go get Michael is like interesting. But another thing that stood out to me, which is like sad, is that there was physical abuse going or like in their household. I don't recall which parent it was, but they didn't stop until they cried, which it was like hard hearing for me. It was hard for me to hear. She also stated that typically no one was home after school, which is interesting. Another thing that I found interesting too is that Dawn and Dana got something to eat at 8 that night. So it's like, I think they like stopped searching and then like went to go get food. It's like, I don't know. And then the second episode, it was like really hard to hear, like hearing what the autopsy or like talking about their injuries and stuff. It was like really sad. They went through brutal injuries, but some not takeaways, but like things I found interesting is that they mentioned that no knife was involved. They like figured out that like no knife was involved. I think it was Dr. Spitz. Is that how you say his name? The 3 boys, including the emasculation of Chris Byers, were produced by animals after death, which was interesting to hear. I don't know if that was him, but I think this part I wrote down in my notes is quote, but as far as satanic type entries, I failed to see those in any of these victims. There were obvious claw marks, which is like interesting to hear. But overall, this like it just like makes you think of how incorrect the report is, and like they need to like detail more on their and like be done correctly. And then also think another thing that I found like that was off and concerning was like the cult expert towards the end. I was like, what? And yeah. Also, like one of the things that stood out to me is that like I think it was like what is it called? I don't know what it's called, but they didn't want the core being so long in his report, so his report were like poorly written compared to the other ones. And I feel like this is one of the things that brought this case down. And I don't know, this is so sad just hearing from episode 10 what one of them went through. But yeah, those were my thoughts. Thank you.